In this process, was anybody looking at job creation? Because it seems like if somebody had been looking at job creation, they would have seen this project created 0 jobs in Ohio, and I don't know how many jobs it created in Texas because I couldn't determine that based on the information here.
This project created jobs in Whirlpool and with Ohio retailers, so Ohio manufacturers and Ohio retailers. I'm not aware that any jobs were created by Parago or at their call center. Our contract is one of several contracts that they have. So I have never been told by them that they created any jobs, but I do know that we have Ohio retailers who have told us that they created jobs to handle the additional work from the rebate program. And we do know that Whirlpool was able to expand its production capability because of both Ohio's rebate programs and other states' rebate programs who are looking for energy-efficient appliances. So I do know that there were jobs created in Ohio for this because of this project.
And that's not a dispute. I don't think anybody would dispute that. But with every other stimulus project, such an effort has been made in Ohio and other parts of the country to document how many jobs are created, even if the job wasn't specifically created for the very program that it's serving. But the case can be made that a job is retained. There's been such an effort made to document how stimulus funds have helped influence job counts here in the country. With this program, it seems like there was no interest in finding out job creation on the program administrative level, not on the actual supply level of creating, building and selling appliances, but on the program administrative level. It seems like there wasn't anybody looking to see about job creation on this.
We were tracking our job creation, was concerned about what happened here in Ohio. And again, we were very interested in how Whirlpool was able to expand its production line and how the Ohio retailers were able to hire additional jobs. We were not tracking jobs in Parago, and again, we are disappointed that Parago did what they did, and as I've indicated to you, we are going to make sure that doesn't happen in the future. But I am not aware of jobs that Parago created or didn't create because of our contract.
The Ohio company we talked to, 21st Century Communications, according to your notes, Mr. Jurst knew that they were going to have to subcontract some of their work to Illinois. Is it because it was a subcontracting that he knew that some of those jobs would not be in Ohio?
I can't answer on behalf of Edgers. I don't know. So I'm not prepared to answer that.
Okay. And what did you think of Parago's? Let me ask you this. You got the letter back from Parago, and I'm assuming they probably talked to you on the phone as well, that the only communication was not just a letter, that you probably had a phone conversation. But we looked at their letter back to you. What did you think of their response?
I think that, again, I was very disappointed in the fact that they did not disclose this to us initially. And to find out that they had offshored the call center on the day that people were trying to get rebates was very disappointing and upsetting for us. Our main goal in this program was to make sure that Ohio consumers could use the rebates to get energy-efficient appliances and save money for years to come on their utility bills, as well as get a check and a rebate that they could then spend in the economy, which is a double expenditure in Ohio's economy. Our second goal was to make sure that Ohio retailers and Ohio manufacturers benefited from this program. And that was our focus, and that was our goal. Again, I am very, very disappointed and upset to find out what Parago did. And, we just, will not let it happen again.
And I want to just touch on it because in your request, you specifically said we're asking that you pull your call center from the United States, from outside the United States, and bring it back inside. Their response to that, their letter never answered your question, or at least never addressed your request. And then they made the argument that it was better for Ohioans to have had that money, those cost savings from not hiring Americans, put back into the Ohio rebate program. Did you agree with that?
We believe in Ohio workers. We think Ohio workers are the best in the country and, in fact, have a work ethic that is one of the best in the world. We prefer to have Ohio workers working rather than people elsewhere, outside the state and outside this country. So Ohio workers are the best in the world, and Ohio workers would have we prefer to see Ohio workers working, and we were happy to see that with the Ohio retailers and the Ohio manufacturers as a result of this program.
This is a slightly different situation, though, because the agency never expected Ohio workers to get these jobs. The thought was Parago is based in Texas. They'll handle it in the United States and other states. Mm-hmm. So the question on a philosophical standpoint, or maybe even on an economic argument, is whether it is in Ohio's best interest to save that money through offshoring the jobs, get that money back into the rebate program, as opposed to paying more to have Americans in other states working on the program.
The point of the federal stimulus dollars was to stimulate jobs here in the United States, and that's what we would have preferred to see. And if we would have known that ahead of time, we would have been able to make sure that that occurred. And that's why in all future RFPs, we're going to make sure that we ask that question so we get that information. And then in future contracts, we put language in our contracts to make sure that we are not offshoring jobs as a result of these programs.
So their argument that Ohioans benefited more because there were cost savings on the administrative side and that put more money into the rebate program, that doesn't convince you?
I think that what I want to see is Americans, and Ohio specifically, have jobs. And that is what my job is. It's the Ohio Department of Development Director. And that's what I want to ensure going into the future.
I'm sure two more questions for you, and one of them is just to get your sense of this. I'm guessing you think this program as a whole has been a big success, but I don't want to assume that. I want to ask you that question. We're looking at this right now. I know this is an issue that some people will be outraged about, and you've expressed your own disappointment. But for the program as a whole, what's your assessment of its impact on Ohio?
I think that we've been able to incent a lot of Ohioans to make purchases of energy-efficient appliances. I think that that is a big positive. I think also the fact that Ohio retailers have indicated that they got a lot of business through the rebate program is a big positive. And the fact that several of them brought on additional people and have indicated that they plan on keeping those people even once this rebate program is over. And the fact that Ohio manufacturers benefited, and I love to tout Ohio Whirlpool because it's one of our best companies here in the States, that they were able to expand capacity and bring on additional shifts is a big positive for the program. So overall, I think that the program is a success, and we're still winding it down.
And my last question for you was, you found out about this in March, right as the program launched, correct?
Mm-hmm.
We learned about it this month, or actually it's August now. We learned about it at the end of July. Hadn't learned about it at any other opportunity. My question was, when did you plan on letting anybody else know about it? When you found out that this company that had a stimulus contract was in fact employing non-Americans, was there a plan to tell somebody, this company has done this and we're going to take corrective action? Why did we only learn about this in the last few weeks?
Again, we were extremely disappointed to find out that the call center was offshore. Which was important to us is to make sure that the program was successful and kept going. And so we are taking future, again, responding for the future by making sure that this doesn't happen again. And so we have taken proactive action in putting the language into our RFPs and into our contracts so that it doesn't happen again.
And I hear you, but that doesn't address my question, which is about the timing of it, which is if you found out about this in March, was there a plan to tell people about it? Why did we learn about this just in the last few weeks if you've known about this for several months?
Again, as soon as we learned about it, we took action. We're making sure that our future contracts don't have this issue. And so we're going to make sure that we do not have a contract that has offshore jobs in the future. And that is what my responsibility is, to make sure that our future administration of programs corrects a mistake that was made in this contract. And that's what we intend to do.
I don't have any more questions because I can't keep asking that same question. But my takeaway from that is that there wasn't a plan to say anything about this. So if you want to correct me on that, you're welcome to. But I won't keep asking you the same question.
I have nothing else to say.
Okay. Thank you very much.